A prospective client recently told us that they hired a new 1099 therapist and they were planning to pay them through Venmo. There's a few things that are worrying from that statement. 1099 compliance is truly a landmine for small practices, and it's almost never discussed proactively. It's almost always something that's talked about after the fact. Oh, you should have hired those people as W-2s. Oh, you need to transition them. Here's the issues with that. So let's talk a little bit about being proactive with 1099s and really 4 things that every practice owner needs to do before your contractor's first day. The first one, and this is the most proactive, is that you should look at the IRS's definitions of a contractor and make sure that the person you're hiring is actually a contractor, not an employee. Just a quick quote from the IRS. It says, "You are not an independent contractor if you perform services that can be controlled by an employer, such as what will be done and how it will be done." This applies even if you are given freedom of action, meaning you can, kind of decide when to do it. There's some flexibility there. I'll link the definitions from the IRS below this video so you can read more, but very important to go look at those definitions. What we've seen is that most contractors who are working for a therapy practice are not actually contractors. Usually they have definitions about when they can be working there, how they can be working, basically how to do their job, when to do their job, which makes them an employee. There's some more definitions with the IRS as well, as far as whether that relationship is ongoing and permanent, how the payment happens, whether the other business is, or whether the contractor is providing necessary services or essential services to the practice. And a lot of times, I think a therapist does meet the definitions of an employee, not a contractor. There's also more and more state and IRS pressure for less people to be contractors and more people to be employees. So it's something you want to look at. And if you do need to do a 1099 to W-2 transition, come talk to us, because that's one of the areas that we specialize in is transforming that pay structure from a contractor to an employee. We can help you out with that. But that's really the first piece you want to do, and you want to be really proactive with that to make sure that that person you're hiring is actually a contractor and they meet all those definitions. Let's say they do meet those definitions. The next thing you want to do is you want to complete a W-9. Now, for some reason, W-9s scare people. They feel like it's going to be a lot of paperwork. It's actually super, super simple. It'll probably take about 3 minutes. But make sure you have a W-9 on file. That's going to tell you about the contractor that you hired, how to mail their 1099 to them, what type of business they are, those sorts of things. So get a completed version of that. It should be updated as well. It shouldn't be from 5 years ago. Third, you should have some sort of simple written agreement in place with that contractor. This should outline the services, how you're working together, and this is where you're trying to kind of formalize that this person is a contractor and showing that. You're going to basically say what the job is, what they're expected to do, the pay that comes along with that, everything like that. So have some sort of simple written agreement in place. You can definitely talk to an attorney to help you with that. There's also a lot of versions online that you can find as well. And fourth, make sure you're paying that contractor through a business account, not a personal account, not through Zelle, not through Venmo, not through PayPal. You need a easy way to record those payments and see those payments. What we see a lot of times is practices using something like Zelle or Venmo, which makes it very hard to know who's getting paid what, because in the bank or in your financial statements, all it's going to show is it's going to show Venmo for $200, Zelle for $500. There's no way to know who that's going to or what it's doing without lots of conversations and going back in time to get that record keeping completed. So make sure you pay through a legitimate form. That could be as simple as writing them a check. Those are easy to track, but it also could be through a payroll software like Gusto, QuickBooks, where you can set up a contractor and easily pay them. That also makes tracking for 1099s at the end of the year way easier because it's all already totaled in the software. Do not use a personal account. That's just, in general, never a good idea, but especially when you're paying someone, that just complicates things even further. So those are the 4 things. Look at the IRS definitions of a contractor. Make sure they are a contractor. Do that first. Do that before you even think about hiring someone. Get that completed W-9. Put a simple written agreement in place. And then make sure you're paying through a business account, not a personal account. And don't use Zelle or Venmo or any of those silly things. Honestly, most contractors that we see in practices, like I said, are not really contractors. So if you are paying your team as contractors, make sure they actually are. If you need to do a pay transition, talk to us. We don't want you opened up to liability, audit risk, any of those things. So make sure you do your homework.